What are we doing to make this a special pugliese dish?
Here we're using canned tomatoes.
Plum tomatoes, right?
Plum tomatoes, San Marzano if you can get them.
Yeah. Boy, you're not going to waste a thing, are you?
No, absolutely not. Will you put that over to the other side, please? And I'm going to use these beautiful pink lamb shanks here that we're going to brown very, very well. Add this to the hot olive oil.
All right. You dried this meat really well.
I washed this meat and I dried it very well. And I'm putting it into a pan large enough to contain because we're using 4 here, 4 lamb shanks, with enough room in between for that oil to be bubbling and dancing all around. And that's going to give this meat a nice brown color. This was served as a first dish, Marianne.
Right, and the meat was served as a second course, right?
The meat was, well, yes, right after the pasta. And dishes were not changed because it was always followed with either a rabbit roast or a capon roast.
I'm crying only because it sounds delicious.
Well, listen, I don't have too many people crying over
the onions.
So.
Those look good.
Marianne, I think that these are just about done.
Okay.
You see how nice and brown they are?
Beautiful.
And we're going to put these right into the sauce.
So that goes right into the tomatoes.
Yes, right into the tomatoes.
Oh,
We're going to leave a little bit of that oil
that
because in that oil, we're going to brown.
There's your garlic that I did.
Our garlic cloves, and don't be afraid to use garlic.
Oh, I love garlic. Now, what is it? What do you love particularly about pugliese cooking?
I think the simplicity of pugliese cooking is not to be believed. You know, you use the best and the freshest ingredients, whatever they pick that day. I'll put this garlic in there, and then we're going to...
I'll bet the onions go in next,
do the onions.
All right. You want those in now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, great.
All right.
Great. Now, this looks like an awful lot of onion, Marianne.
I was going to say.
By the time it cooks down, you will see what a difference there is. The color is changing. I'm going to add the wine to this now.
Okay, and you're using a red wine,
I'm using a good red dry wine. If you don't have a red wine, by all means do use a dry white wine. Now here we go. Now wait till you smell this, Marianne.
I like this already. This dish is a hearty dish.
It is. This is a very rich sauce.
You didn't put an awful lot of wine in.
No, I have about, I would say that I've got about 2/3 of a cup. You can use more or less. If you want more, add a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't want the wine to overwhelm the dish either.
When you take the meat out of the sauce, are you going to take it off the bone? Because that bone is really giving beautiful flavor.
No, that's part of the joy of eating lamb shanks is the fact that you can sit there. It's not really company fare, so to speak, because you
have to eat it with your fingers.
Well, to a certain point, you use your knife and fork, hopefully.
And then you put it down.
You put that down, and you add and you pick it up in your fingers.
Yeah. Then you could sing a little opera, you see, while you're doing
why not,
that.
of course. Now I'm adding the paste, and we're going to stir that around until that's completely mixed. Now that's ready to go in with the lamb shanks and the tomatoes.
And it just wouldn't have been the same had you put the paste directly into the pot.
No.
Because you want that flavor.
No. You know, the Neapolitans use nothing but paste
Yeah, I know
in some sauces.
My Neapolitan grandmother actually made her own. And I'm sure you did too at one point.
I'm adding this now to the sauce, Marianne. And I'm going to season it with salt and a little bit of hot pepper if you choose. That's optional. Here's the salt. We're going to add that.
And here's
a pinch of the hot pepper.
Oh, put more than a pinch.
Do you like?
I like it a little hotter.
Let's go for it.
Yes, and then you want basil, huh? And we have to remember that we're talking fresh herbs here, right?
Oh, yes, please.
Basil, we have to use fresh.
Basil, you have to use fresh.
Okay, so now, how long is this going to cook?
About an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
When you put your fork into that shank and it comes out easily, you know that it is done. There we go.
Now, are you going to serve any cheese with this?
By all means. And we use pecorino romano. We do not use parmigiano.
No parmigiano, okay.
And I'm going to use some of the basil.
Oh, good.
I'm going to take some of that basil.
That'll dress that up beautifully.
And I'm going to put it
Right
right here,
in the
smack in the center. Now, doesn't that look beautiful? We're going to wipe this off a little bit so it doesn't look all that messy. And hopefully everyone is seated around the table.
And because pasta waits
you
for
never
no one.
put pasta into the boiling water until everyone is seated. That is sacrilegious.